So hello students, welcome back to the discussion on daily newspaper analysis, and I hope your preparation is going well. And today we shall be discussing some of the important articles from 17th March. So let's start our discussion. Okay, so today some of the important topics are, first is related to elections of Rajya Sabha. So as we know, on 16th of March election took place. So this topic is important from prelims point of view. After that, the topic of electric cooking. So as we know, because of the conflict in West Asia, our country is facing huge oil and fuel crisis. So because of that, electric cooking is in news. But about the technicalities, I think we have discussed 3 or 4 days before about the induction cooking, induction cooktop. So we shall not be discussing those, but some of the important things given in the article. After that, a term called as no quarter. So UPSC generally asks related to terms in news. Question is being asked related to terms in news. That's why we shall be discussing about no quarter. After that, Sahitya Akademi Awards 2025. So UPSC has already asked question, I think, in 2021 related to Bharat Ratna Awards. So maybe UPSC will not ask the name of the personality or name of the book directly, but from the static part, question can be asked. After that, a practice question. So where you have to read the question carefully, you have to provide the answer in the comment section. So see, it's not like if you do not give your answer in the comment section, you will not learn. But the thing is, if you have that thing in your mind, know that I have to give the answer in the comment section, then you will read more and more, or maybe you will ask some other type of questions also. So please read it carefully. And as already discussed yesterday, that every day I will be giving you 2 important places in news. So you have to see the location, and then you have to read from environment or geography point of view. So finally, let's start our discussion. So first important article is related to Rajya Sabha elections. So it's not important for you to remember the name of the personalities, that who won from where, who won from Bihar or who won from Haryana or Odisha, but at least you must know the basic procedure, the basic terms which are given in the news. Okay, so see here I have highlighted some of the important terms which you shall be knowing, or you must be knowing from exam point of view. First important thing is, elections were held for 11 out of 37 vacant seats. Remaining members were elected unopposed. The meaning of this is 37 seats were needed to be filled. Out of 37 seats, elections happened for 11. Out of 37, election happened for 11 seats. Then what about the other seats? Here article is saying remaining members were elected unopposed. Meaning of this is, for example, if there are 4 seats which are needed to be filled and there are 4 members, then who will do the election? Because for 1 seat there is 1 member only, so there is no need of election. So apart from 11 seats, the other seats, the other members went elected unopposed because there was no opposition. So this is first important thing. Second important thing is, the article says that Rajya Sabha elections are periodic and partial, not general. General means the general elections of Lok Sabha, where each and every state participates simultaneously. But here, as we know that Rajya Sabha is a permanent body, and elections for around 1/3 of members happen every 2 years. So that's why it is saying that it is periodic and partial and not general. Not everything is happening at the same time. Not all the states are participating at the same time. After this, it's not important how many seats which state won. No, it's just the summary of the article. So here the article says the ruling alliance, that is National Democratic Alliance, performed strongly. Okay, that is okay. But we shall be discussing from prelims point of view. So first of all, if we are talking about Bihar, so here the article says that the alliance won because of the full participation of MLAs and absence of several opposition MLAs. So why I am reading this? Because to understand that in the election of members of Rajya Sabha, elected members of state legislative assemblies are involved. So who elects the members of Rajya Sabha? The elected members of state legislative assemblies. Okay, so you don't need to remember the reason that why the alliance won. Just we are focusing that since there was full participation of MLAs. MLAs means members of legislative assemblies. So that's why it won in Bihar. Second important thing, the article is talking about Odisha, that the alliance won not having full majority because of the reason of cross voting by MLAs. So here in Odisha, the alliance won because of the cross voting of MLAs. So I have highlighted here, we shall be discussing this. What is cross voting of MLAs? And if we are talking about Haryana, so in Haryana, the main issue which is given in the article is related to breach of vote of secrecy. So what all things we have to discuss about the breach of vote of secrecy? Second, about the cross voting of MLAs. Third, about that who participate in the election of members of Rajya Sabha, about the term of Rajya Sabha, all these things. So it's not like we have discussed the article. Just I am pointing out what all things are important in the article, then we shall be discussing. So this is the manner in which you should read any news. Just when you are reading any news, just highlight the important keywords which can be asked in exam. Then after that, start reading one by one about the keywords. Now, the very basic about the Rajya Sabha elections. So first very important thing is Rajya Sabha elections are conducted through proportional representation, single transferable vote. We shall be discussing about the detail. Just remember the keywords, because the keyword as it is can be asked in other government exams apart from UPSC. So how members of Rajya Sabha are elected? They are elected through proportional representation, one. Second is single transferable vote. And the very basic thing about Rajya Sabha is who elects the members of Rajya Sabha? The elected MLAs, the elected members of state legislative assemblies elect the member of Rajya Sabha. So see, because of that, the election of Rajya Sabha is not direct, it is indirect. What is direct election? Where people directly participate in the election, that is the general election, election of Lok Sabha. But here, the representatives of people are electing the members of Rajya Sabha. That's why it is an indirect election. So these two were the important things. Now, to win the election, it's not important to win maximum number of votes. So in Rajya Sabha elections, there is a word what we call it as quota. So this word quota you will read in the election of president also. So if any member secures the required number of quota, he will win. Quota also we will discuss, don't worry. Now, in the proportional representation single transferable vote, you have a mechanism what we call it as vote transfer mechanism. So what happens in vote transfer? For example, 1, 2, 3, 4. So in proportional representation single transferable vote, it's not like you are voting for a particular seat. No, you will be given a paper, and in that paper you will be given the name of all the nominations who are candidates are fighting for the election. Then you do not need to choose just one member. You have to give the priority that at first place I want this member to win, at second place I want this member, at third place I want this, and at fourth place I want this. Then what will happen? For example, candidate 1 got the required number of quota, because as we know that quota is required. If a candidate secure the quota, then he is the member of Rajya Sabha. So for example, candidate 1 have required number of quota, and even after securing quota, he have the excess or surplus votes. Then surplus votes will go to the candidate to whom I have given the second preference. So this is the vote transfer mechanism, where surplus or eliminated candidates' votes are transferred based on the next preference. So this is the basic of PR and SPV system. Now, another important thing is about the open ballot system. So in Rajya Sabha, the MLAs, that is members of legislative assembly, must show their vote to the party member. Show their vote to the party agents. So it's not like they will show their vote to everyone, but at least to the party agent they must show their vote. That's why we call it as open ballot system. And as we discussed in the summary, that in Haryana there was issue related to breach of vote of secrecy. We will discuss how it was. See, as we are discussing that Rajya Sabha follows a open ballot system, that means you can show the vote just to the party agent, not to everyone. But the other parties are alleging that in Haryana, the MLAs have shown their vote to other parties also. That means other members are also aware about the votes. That's why it is called breach of secrecy. Because it's not like completely open. Secrecy has to be maintained with other members also. Okay, so I think we discussed everything about the Rajya Sabha elections. Now, coming to nature and cycle of Rajya Sabha. So, very, very important thing from exam point of view is Rajya Sabha is a permanent body. Rajya Sabha is a permanent body. That means Rajya Sabha does not dissolve like Lok Sabha. Lok Sabha dissolves after every 5 years. But Rajya Sabha is a permanent body. It does not dissolve. Now, if Rajya Sabha does not dissolve, why elections are being conducted? So, reason is Rajya Sabha is a permanent body, and here 1/3 members of Rajya Sabha are elected every 2 years. So, every time people will be present in Rajya Sabha, but 1/3 members will be electing after 2 years. So, basically, the house will remain. It's not like completely Rajya Sabha is dissolved. Every 2 years, new members will be admitted to Rajya Sabha. So, this is one. So, as we discussed, 1/3 members retire every 2 years, and in vacancies in Rajya Sabha can be created due to various reasons. For example, first, retirement. If the because term of Rajya Sabha members is 6 years. So, if the term of 6 years is completed, because of retirement, it can become vacant. Second, they can resign. And third, because of death of any member. So, that's why, because of all these things, elections in Rajya Sabha are not always general like Lok Sabha, but partial, or the vacancies are filled because of by-elections. Now, electoral system, which I said that we shall be discussing, single transferable vote. So, proportional representation by method of single transferable vote. So, as I have already discussed about this, about this we have already discussed. So, first thing is key features. MLAs will rank candidate 1, 2, 3. So, again I will show, for example, these are the name of candidates. So, here. Okay, so here maybe I have given first preference to this, second preference to this, third preference to this, and fourth to this. So article says the same thing which we have already discussed. So not just one vote, you have to provide the preferential voting. So this is your preferential voting. You are not choosing a single person, you are giving the ranks. And after that, winning is based on quota, not the maximum votes. So quota we have to discuss. So what is the formula for quota? What is the formula used? So quota means total number of votes divided by number of seats which a particular state is having, because the seats a particular state have in Rajya Sabha depends on its population. So, seats for which the elections are being conducted +1 and +1. So, for example, if we are talking about Haryana, so it has total number of votes 88, and in Rajya Sabha, Haryana has 2 seats +1 and here +1. So, the value of quota will become 30. So, the number of candidates who are crossing this number of seats, those candidates will be elected. About the vote transfer mechanism, I think we have already discussed that if a candidate gets more vote, excess votes are transferred to the second preference. Okay. Now, if no one meets the quota, for example, for Haryana, we were discussing that 30 was the value of quota. It can happen that no candidate is getting the value of quota. Then the lowest candidate, we discussed for the candidate to whom I have given the first preference, he will be eliminated and his votes will be redistributed among all the 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so why I am focusing more on this? Because there is very good example in the article. So, a candidate known as Sevesh Kumar, he won due to the second preference votes. So, a candidate who got the required quota, obviously he got elected, and if he was having surplus number of votes, extra votes were given to second candidate, and he was Sevesh Kumar. So, he won because of the preference votes. Now, yes, in the summary we discussed about the cross voting also. So, cross voting, what is the meaning of cross voting? MPs are not voting according to the direction given by the party. So, this is cross voting. So, MPs vote against the party line. And in summary we discussed that cross voting happened in Orissa. Now, why this concept of cross voting is important? Because I will write even this only. Yes. So, see, as you know that during any kind of elections, any party issue a whip, and whip means all the members of the party have to follow the direction given by the party. But if we are talking about the elections in Rajya Sabha, so whips are not issued for the Rajya Sabha elections. Because if whip is issued, then you cannot do cross voting. Because if you are doing cross voting against the whip, then under 10th schedule, you are liable, or no, you can be convicted under the anti-defection law. But since whips are not issued for Rajya Sabha elections, that means even if candidates are doing cross voting, then no action can be taken under anti-defection law or the 10th schedule. And here, since no whip is issued and the candidates are appealed for the conscience voting. Conscience voting means based on your judgment. You don't have to vote along the party lines. So this is very important, that because of the absence of whips, generally the members, during Rajya Sabha elections, cross voting happens. Now, next important article is related to electric cooking. So technicalities I think we have discussed. Now some more new things are added in the article, so we shall be discussing that. So here the context is, according to an important study, electric cooking is 37% cheaper than the non-subsidized LPG and 14% cheaper than the PNG, that is piped natural gas. So this is very important thing, because because of this energy crisis, people are using more and more electric cooking. But no, if this advantage is there, no, so even if the crisis is resolved, even if we come out of the emergency situation, then also people will try to use these things more and more. Now, before discussing everything, we will discuss India's LPG dependence. I think we have discussed this already. So, no, you must remember some basic facts. So, if we are talking about 37%, remember it as 40%. But at least remember, it will help you in mains also. So, if we are talking about the India's LPG dependence, no, so around 60% of LPG and 50% of natural gas is imported by India, and that too around 80% of it comes from Strait of Hormuz only. I think we discussed this also. So that's why this is the energy crisis of India, that since India is heavily dependent, and India is dependent more and more on this choke point, what we call as Strait of Hormuz. Now, second important thing is about the clean cooking transition. So see, here we are talking about the energy crisis. Now, since the government of India is trying to push more and more for the use of LPG connections, but even after having around 330 million LPG connections, around 37% of households still use firewood or dung cakes. So see, you can remember percentage in this way. According to a study, around electric cooking is 40% cheaper than the LPG or PNG, and still around 40% households are using the firewood or dung cakes. So to remember, this is very easy. Now, electric cooking versus LPG, since see, this is very important. We already discussed this in the context, no? Around 40% it is cheaper than LPG, around 14% it is cheaper than PNG. And even after that, if people want to use LPG, then they have to use the subsidized cylinders, which government is providing under PM Ujjwala subsidy. And a very important thing here is about the energy efficiency. So see, first we discussed about the cost, that is economic aspect. So in economic aspect, what we said, that electric cooking is around 40% cheaper than the LPG. Second aspect is about the energy efficiency, or we can call it as about the environmental concern. So induction cooktop is around 85% efficient, means it converts 85% of heat into electricity. On the other hand, LPG stove converts only 40% of gas into heat. Sorry, 85% electricity into heat, and this is around 40%. So that's why also electric cooking is important. So can you see the advantages are more and more increasing. After that, other important aspects. So here we are discussing about the advantages only, advantages of electric cooking over LPG. So now the article says that in 2014, peak power demand was around 148 gigawatts, and in 2025, it's around 240 gigawatts. So what the article is trying to say that demand of electricity is increasing more and more, and when the temperature of Earth increased by around 1 degree centigrade, the energy demand increased by about 7 gigawatt. So since the demand of electricity, demand of power is increasing more and more, hence we have to search for the alternatives, because as we discussed that electric cooking is important from environmental point of view also and from economic point of view also. Now, but here the reason is, here the main issue is, as we discussed, that there are various advantages of electric cooking over LPG or PNG. But if we are using electricity more and more, if we are using electricity more and more, then it will put a lot of pressure on the power grid. So can you see, now we are stuck here. Since LPG cylinders were costly, so we shifted to electric cooking. Now if we are using more and more electric cooking, then it will put a lot of pressure on power grid. So now we need a solution. So article provides various kind of solutions. First is open ADR technology. That is open automated demand response technology. So what happens in this technology, see, I will explain in this way. So in this technology, the devices auto adjust the electricity use. What is the meaning for this? For example, this is your power grid. Okay. For example, power grid gives the signal of increasing demand or gives the signal of peak demand. Then this will give signal to all the consumers. Who are the consumers? Like the industries. Now here all the devices are connected to each other, and automatically they will detect that there is increasing peak, there is a situation of peak demand. So what these devices will do? They will reduce the electricity and power supply. They will reduce it. So see, because the issue is, if at a particular time more and more devices are using the power, hence it will put a lot of pressure on the grid. So what these devices will do? These open automated these open ADR technology, what these devices will do, they will just first they will find out whether there is peak demand, and after that they will reduce the electricity usage and power usage during that time. So hence the load on grid can be reduced. Okay, so I think we discussed that demand response concept, that is, it reduces electricity during peak hours. So here a very good example I can give of mall. For example, all the devices in the mall detect that now there is peak power demand. So what all these devices will do? For example, all the lights will become dim, and all the non-important functions will get shut down. And after a few hours, when the peak the demand of power reduces, all these systems will function efficiently. So this is one of the examples. After that, one of the other important concept discussed is about the prosumer. Prosumer means producer and consumer. That means with the help of solar power cells, rooftop solar power cells, people can generate extra amount of energy, and hence that energy they can use later. So when they are first, they will produce and they will consume also. After that, peer-to-peer energy trading. So same, for example, you are generating surplus amount of energy, and hence you can sell those energy in the households using blockchain or smart contracts. So these were some of the important terms which were discussed in the article. So at least you must have an idea what are these important terms. Now, the term in news, that is no quarter. So the context is, this no quarter term is related to the West Asia conflict, where US, Iran and Israel are involved. So UPSC don't ask these type of questions in detail. As just you must have an idea about the context, that in what context these things were asked. So let's understand what no quarter is. So no quarter means refusing to accept the surrender. That means if two countries are in war, no, country A and B are in war. So country A is saying to B that I will never surrender, and I will kill each and every person which is coming from your country. Even if they are civilians, even if they are injured person, I don't care. So I will never surrender, and I will kill the enemy combats. Yes. And I will not surrender, and I will kill all the enemy combatants. So this is the meaning of no quarter. So what is the context in which no quarter was in news? It is related to war crimes. Now, as we know, as we discussed what it is, so we can say that it is strictly prohibited under international humanitarian law. And what are those humanitarian laws? So first is about the Hague Regulations. So Hague Regulation, Geneva Convention and Rome Statute, all these three conventions are related to war crimes. You have to remember this because it can also be asked in UPSC. So Hague Regulation, Geneva Convention, Rome Statute. So in some of the other article, for example, if we talk about Hague Regulations, so it forbids declaring no quarter. So according to international humanitarian law, you cannot declare no quarter. Okay, is there any other thing? Yes, so this kind of principle is based on the reciprocity. So if country says that I am declaring no quarter, obviously country B will also declare no quarter. So because of all these things, there will be no respect for international humanitarian law. Okay, so I think this was all which you must know from exam point of view. Yes, Sahitya Academy Awards 2025. So here we shall not be discussing the name of personalities or name of books, just we shall be discussing the static part. So what is the context? Recently Sahitya Academy Awards were announced. Now, so Sahitya Academy Awards 2025 was announced. Important thing to remember here is it is announced in 24 recognized Indian languages. How many languages? 24. Talking about Sahitya Academy, so it is an autonomous body under Ministry of Culture. So please remember that it's not a statutory body. It is an autonomous body under Ministry of Culture. So here the award covers multiple kind of categories like the poetry, novels, essays, short stories, etc., etc. Now here the winners are selected by the distinguished jury members and approved by the Academy's competent authority. So what all things are given to awardee? A copper plate, shawl, 1 lakh cash prize. No need to go very much in detail. At least you must have basic idea about the ministry, about the number of languages, about the multiple categories, etc. Next, notable awardees. So you don't need to remember each and every awardee. Actually, these were the name given in the news. Like Navtesh Sarna from English, Mamta Kalia from Hindi, and Nandini Seedha Reddy from Telugu. So these were some of the notable awardees. Okay, here one important thing here is a memorandum of understanding is required for these awards. So what is the meaning of memorandum of understanding? Awards to be declared only with the prior approval of ministry during restructuring. So this is very important. And this MOU applies on these kind of institutions. What are these institutions? Sahitya Academy, Sangeet Natak Academy, Lalit Kala Academy and National School of Drama. So this kind of memorandum of understanding is applicable on 4 autonomous cultural institutions. Now let's discuss something about the award. So the first important thing is this award is conferred annually, and who confers this award? It is conferred by the Sahitya Academy, which is also known as National Academy of Letters. Second important thing is about the year, which is 1954. See, now UPSC maybe won't ask the question directly about the years. Previously it was asking, but at least you must have an idea. It can be given in any of the statement. Third important thing is it is the highest literary honor in India. So which is the first? It is the second highest literary honor. So which is the highest? It is the Gyanpith Award. And as we have already discussed that it recognizes 24 languages. So from these 24 languages, 22 languages are the official languages which are given in the 8th schedule of India. And apart from that, 2 languages are, one is English and second is Rajasthani. So these small things are important from prelims point of view. Now let's discuss briefly about the criteria. So for this, the criteria must be the person has to be of Indian nationality for this Sahitya Academy Award. After that, important thing is the book must be of an outstanding contribution to the language and literature. Obviously, then only you will get this prestigious award. Here, second important thing is, if 2 works are worth of mentioning or worth of giving awards, then the overall literary contribution of any author will be considered. About the Sahitya Academy, so I think main points we have already discussed about the year 1954. Okay, and what is the nodal ministry? It comes under Ministry of Culture. Our headquarters is located in Delhi. Here you have to remember that it is registered as society under Indian Society Registration Act 1860. Okay, so here I have mentioned a PYQ so that you will get an idea that no, you don't have to completely eliminate these awards and sports from your preparation. At least you must have a general idea, because see, PSC has asked this question in 2021 about Bharat Ratna. So here, like the question was asked about the year, question was asked about the article, question was asked about the number of Bharat Ratna awardees. So in this way, you have to read anything. Now, the practice question, as already discussed. So, first question is, consider the following statements in respect of Sahitya Academy Awards. So, first statement is, it is a statutory body under Ministry of Culture. Second is, these awards are given in 24 recognized Indian languages. Third statement is, the awards are given only for works of poetry and novels. Now, if you have gone through the video very carefully, then you will be able to answer. So, please provide the answer in the comment section. And if you have any other question, then also give that topic in comment section. Now, the places in news which you have to find out, and you have to read about the prelims related facts also. So, first place you have to read about is Natanz. Second place is Dimona, and third place is Kesham Island. So in comment section, you just provide me the location where all these things are located. And second thing, what you can do, no, you can provide, when you are reading about the location, you will read about the facts also. So you can find a fact which you can easily say that, no, this fact can be asked in UPSC. So write that fact in comment section so that other candidates can also get an idea about all these things. So these all things you have to search. And yes, yesterday I have given 2 places. First was Amba Dongar, second was Lake Natron. So Amba Dongar is located in Chota Udaipur district. And yes, one candidate has also given the answer, so I appreciate it. And I motivate other students also to search and give the answer in the comment section. So this is located in Chota Udaipur district in Gujarat, and it is well known for the fluoride deposits. Second location was Lake Natron. So Lake Natron was in news because of the population of lesser flamingos and red color of this lake. So these were the things. Okay, yes. So I think that's all for the discussion. And if you have any doubt, give the topic or write your doubt in the comments. And yes, that's all for the discussion. Thank you.